So sole trading concern in the sense a single person starting a business organization is called as a sole trading concern. The audit report always acts as evidence. At the same time, it specifies the accuracy of books of account. As an auditor of a sole trading concern is appointed under the contract and not under the statute. Hello everyone, I am Arshita, lecturer, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, Mysuru. Today we are in the first session of Unit 6, that is Audit of Different Types of Organization. So my dear students, you know there are various types of organization. So it may be sole trading concern, partnership firm, joint Hindu family business, joint stock company and cooperative society. So there are number of forms of business organization. So in this unit, you are going to learn about how the auditing is being conducted under different forms of organization. So it may be auditing of a sole trading concern or auditing of a partnership firm or auditing of a cooperative societies. So we shall see how the auditing process is being conducted under various types of organization. Of course, we know so this accounting procedure is different from one type of organization to another type. In the same way, this auditing process is also different from one type of organization to another type of organization. Now, in today's session, we shall begin with the topic that is audit of sole trading concern. Now, what do I mean by sole trading concern? Sole means what? Single. So, sole trading concern in the sense, a single person starting a business organization is called as a sole trading concern. So, he himself is the owner of the business, he contributes capital, he undertakes all the activity alone in the business as well as whatever the profit and loss of the business goes to that single owner. So, sole trader is nothing but single owner of the business is called as sole trader. Now let us see how this auditing is being conducted under sole trading concern. Since he is the only one person who is undertaking all the activities, let us see how the auditing has to be conducted under sole trading concern. So let us see the introduction about this audit of sole trading concern. So under law, the sole trading concern, that is the single person who have started the business, are called as sole trading concern. So under the law, the sole trading concern are not required to have their accounts audited. So according to the law, sole trading concern need not be audited. However, the Finance Bill of 1984. But let us see what is this Finance Bill tells about this auditing of a sole trading concern. However, the Finance Bill of 1984 has made provisions for the compulsory audit of accounts with effect from the assessment year 1985 to 86. So, however, but what happens here, auditing of a sole trading concern is not compulsory. But what this Finance Bill of 1984 tells is that it has to be compulsorily audited. So, each and every business organization have to be compulsorily audited from the assessment year 1985-86. So, from that assessment year, it is compulsory for each and every organization to get their accounts audited. In the case of sole trading concern carrying on business and whose sales turnover or gross receipt exceed rupees 20 lakh. Now, what is this Finance Bill of 1984 tells that? So, the sole trading concern have to be audited whose gross receipt, so their gross receipt should exceed rupees 20 lakh for year, and in case of sole trading concern carrying on profession and whose gross receipt should exceed 10 lakh per year. Now, sole trading concern who undertake the trading activity, so their gross receipt should exceed 20 lakh, and for a concern that is sole trading concern where they undertake profession. So, for such type of organization or for such type of trading concern, the gross receipt should exceed rupees 10 lakh. In the sense, there is certain limit. So, when they reach that limit, of course, the auditing has to be conducted for sole trading concern also. But earlier what they used to do, it's not compulsory for a sole trading concern. So in earlier days, so auditing of a sole trading concern was not compulsory. But after the assessment year 1985-86, after that they have made it, that is the Finance Bill of 1984 have made it compulsory that the trading concern whose turnover is 20 lakh, more than 20 lakh, they have to get audited. In the same way, the concern who undertake profession, so they have to get audited if their turnover exceeds 10 lakh per year. Such sole trading concern are required to get their accounts audited by the chartered accountant. Now, who will audit the auditing of a sole trading concern? That is chartered accountant for the purpose of income tax. Now, the chartered accountant will audit the auditing of a sole trading concern. Now, let us see what are the advantages of audit of accounts of a sole trading concern. Of course, he is a single person who is undertaking the business activity. Let us see what are the advantages of a sole trading concern, that is auditing of a sole trading concern. So, the first one is audit of accounts is advantageous to sole trading concern in many ways. Let us see how it is beneficial. The important benefits accruing to sole trading concern from the audit of accounts are. Let us see how this audit is beneficial for a sole trading concern one by one. So, the first one is audit of accounts assures the sole trading concern that the accounts are correct. Of course, it's not that only for a sole trading concern, for each and every organization. Why auditing essential? In order to see through that whether they have maintained a proper books of account. In the same way, here also auditing of a sole trading concern assures that the accounts of sole trading concern is correct. All the incomes and expenditure are properly entered in the books of accounts. So, the main intention of auditing process is to check whether each and every transaction in the books of account have recorded properly or not. Here also for sole trading concern also, so why this auditing is conducted? To see through that whether each and every transaction relating to sole trading concern, whether they have recorded it properly or not. And the second benefit is that audit will help the sole trader to get an early assessment of his account, as audited accounts are generally accepted as correct by the income tax authority. Now, for sole trader also it is very essential. So, it is very beneficial for a sole trader also, because they get the assessment of the accounts earlier if they get the accounts of the concern being audited. That is, audit will help the sole trader to get an early assessment of his account, as audited accounts are generally accepted. Since if the sole trader have audited his accounts, then it will have a good impression in the minds of each and everyone. So, it helps the income tax authority also, because they will have that, or they will generally accept that the accounts which is prepared by a sole trading concern is correct and accurate. And the next point is the audited accounts can be produced as an evidence in the court of law. So, always this audit report. So, after auditing the books of account, they will prepare a report which is known as audit report, right? So, this audit report always acts as an evidence in the court of law. Suppose if there is any clarification, or suppose if there is any verification, then always this audit report acts as an evidence in the court of law. And the next one is audited accounts helps the sole trader in borrowing money from the bank. So, based on the audited accounts, so of course when the books of accounts are audited, it means that each and every entry in the books of account is correct and accurate also, right? So, this accuracy in the books of account helps the auditor to borrow loan from the financial institution by keeping the audit report, because audit report always acts as evidence. At the same time, it specifies the accuracy of books of account. And the next one is audited accounts will help the sole trader to secure compensation from the insurance company. Suppose if any damage occurs in an organization, so that can be compensated. So that can be compensated by keeping this audit report. So it always assures or it acts as a compensation if any claim has to be given from the insurance company in the event of loss by fire, burglary, etc. So if there is any damage, if there is any theft or if there is any fire in the organization, then this audited account acts as a compensation or act in order to give the compensation by the insurance company. And the next one is audited accounts ensure uniformity from year to year and make the comparison of accounts of different years possible. Now, if each and every year the sole trader goes for this auditing process, so it will help to know the exact financial position of every year, that is in that particular year, and it also help in comparing the accounting result from one year to another year. So the comparison of accounting result will be easy since the audited accounts are accurate, so they will get the accurate result, that is accurate result while comparing the books of accounts from one year to another year. Next is audited accounts will make the calculation of purchase price, goodwill, etc. easy in the event of sale of the business. Suppose if the sole trading concern is going to be sold, then the total cost, so the total cost or the total price to be paid for the organization can be ascertained by having an audited accounts. So if proper accounts are being maintained and it is being audited, so it also helps the sole trading concern to know the exact purchase consideration. Now, what do you mean by purchase consideration? When the sole trading concern is going to be sold, so what is the price to be paid for that particular concern? So that is known as purchase consideration. So by this audited accounts, the sole trader will come to know what is the purchase consideration to be given by the purchaser while purchasing the sole trading concern. So what is the actual purchase consideration, and also it helps in valuing the goodwill. And the next one is the audited accounts of deceased are helpful to the executor or administrator. Suppose if a sole trader is a deceased person, so what do you mean by deceased person? So he may be suffering from any medical issues or he might have dead in the organization. In that situation, so whatever the amount that has to be given to his executor. So what do you mean by executor? The close relative of deceased person is called as executor. Suppose in that situation, by auditing the accounts, so here they will come to know what is the exact amount that has to be paid to the executor of deceased sole trader. And the next one is, while auditing the accounts of a sole trading concern, an auditor should pay certain attention. So we have already discussed about advantages of auditing under sole trading concern. Now let us see what are the points that has to be remembered by an auditor while auditing the sole trading concern. So the first one is, as an auditor of a sole trading concern is appointed under the contract and not under the statute. Now here, there is a contract between the sole trader. So there should be a contract between the sole trader as well as auditor. So it is not a statute. So it is not according to the law, but it is a contract. So it is a contract between the sole trader as well as auditor. So how an auditor is being appointed to a sole trading concern? In respect of contract, not by the statute. So as an auditor of a sole trading concern is appointed under the contract and not under the statute, the auditor should see that the contract for his appointment is in writing. So as I have already told you, so how a sole trader appoints an auditor? Through a contract, and it is not a statute, it is not according to the law, but it is according to the contract, and the auditor has to make sure that the contract is in writing, because this writing contract always acts as a evidence. And the next one is, he should get clear instruction from the sole trader in writing as to what is expected to do, that is whether he is required to prepare the accounts or to audit the accounts or to do the both. Now, what do you mean by this? So, of course, sole trading concern in the sense single owner running a business is called as sole trading concern. Now, as I told you, an auditor is been appointed according to the contract. So, in the contract, the auditor has to make sure that whether the sole trader have specified, so whether he has to do accounting process or whether the auditor has to do auditing process or both accounting and auditing. Since he is a single person, of course, if there are number of transactions, then an auditor may be appointed for accounting process also, or sometimes only auditing process and sometimes accounting as well as auditing. So, being an auditor, while he is being appointed for the auditing process of a sole trading concern, he should know whether for what purpose he being appointed, whether he has to do only accounting process or whether he is appointed only for auditing process or accounting and auditing or both. So, this the auditor has to know while he is being appointed to a sole trading concern. And the next one is, in case he is asked to do the full audit. Suppose if the sole trader asks the auditor to do the full audit, he must see the accounts of the business are properly maintained. Suppose, as I told you, the purpose has to be mentioned clearly in the contract. So, for what reason the auditor is been appointed? Suppose if the auditor has been appointed for both accounting and auditing, then it is a duty of an auditor to see each and every transaction in the books of accounts of a sole trading concern. And the next one is, in most of the cases, there will be no proper system of internal check in case of sole trading concern. So, as I told you, since it is a small organization where it is undertaken by a single person, so this internal check will not be conducted. Whereas when compared to big type of big organization, what they will do? They will appoint certain employees in order to check the books of accounts, which is known as internal check. But in case of sole trading concern, since it is a small organization, so here most of the cases they will not conduct the internal check of a sole trading concern. The absence of proper system of internal check will necessitate detailed checking rather than test checking. In such cases, suppose if the sole trader have not conducted the internal check, in such cases it is a duty of an auditor to carefully check each and every transaction and not to go for test checking. We have already discussed about test checking. So, what do you mean by test checking? If there are number of transactions, what the auditor will do? Auditor will not go through each and every transaction. He will take some part of the transaction and he will check. That is known as what? Test checking. So, if internal check in a sole trading concern is not conducted, in such cases, what the auditor has to do? Auditor has to check in detail. He has to check each and every transaction and not to go for test checking. And the next points that has to be remembered by an auditor is, he should audit the accounts of a sole trading concern in the same manner as is expected to do in case of any other form of business organization. So, how he is going to audit under other forms of organization? In the same way, auditing has to be conducted in sole trading concern also. He should exercise due skill, care, and follow the standard audit procedure laid down by the Institute of Chartered Accountant. So, he should not neglect that the number of transactions under sole trading concern will be less and he cannot go liberally. So, how he is going to conduct auditing under different types of organization? In the same way, he has to conduct auditing here also. That is auditing of a sole trading concern also, and he has to follow all the norms, rules and regulations which is given by Institute of Chartered Accountants. And the next one is, if the personal expenses of a sole trader have been charged as business expenses, the auditor should see that they are excluded from the business expenses and are treated as drawings. Here also, whatever the expenses which is met by the sole trader for his personal use. So, it may be his personal use, not for the business use. Such type of expenses he has to see through that the sole trader have not included such type of expenses for the business expenses. So it has to be segregated. Business expenses is different and personal expense of sole trader is different. Suppose he is having any such type of expenses in the business, that is personal expenses, then it has to be treated as drawings because it does not come under organization expenses or business expenses. And the next one is, he should give his audit report after the completion of audit. Of course, audit report will be given by the auditor after the completion of audit report. Now, what do you mean by audit report? That is the findings of an auditor about the accounting statement which is prepared by an organization. So, he will give the findings in a form of report which is known as audit report, and that audit report of a sole trading concern has to be given after the completion of audit work. After the full completion of audit work, then he has to write his findings in the form of a report which is known as audit report. His audit report should be drafted in the same manner as in case of partnership firm. So, how he is going to draft the audit report in case of partnership firm? In the same way, here also he has to draft the audit report on the sole trading concern. So, in my next session, I am going to discuss about audit of partnership firm. So, in today's session, we have discussed about audit of a sole trading concern, where a single person starting a business activity and how the auditing has to be conducted under sole trading concern. So, my dear students, in today's session, we have learned auditing of a sole trading concern. See you all in my next session. Till then, take care. Thank you.